Well, a lot of people think that if they put up a Facebook page or put up some funny TikTok videos that they are digital marketing. That's not the case. Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we'll be talking to a digital marketing strategist. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. I remember a few years ago I started following an Italian restaurant here in the DFW area on Facebook, and every day it seemed like the same kind of post. Come in and try our pasta, try our lasagna, try our pizza. And after about 3 days of this, I said to myself, this company has nothing to say to me. All they're doing is trying to sell me their food. And I decided to unfriend them. Well, let's talk about digital strategy with a digital marketing strategy expert. Jeff Lopez joins me in studio. He's the founder of Plus Plus Media. Thank you for coming in the studio.
I really appreciate you having me.
Well, I think it's become more important than ever, especially because of the pandemic, to up your game when it comes to digital marketing. A lot of people hear that and they say, what is digital marketing? So let's start there.
Well, I think you kind of summed it up a moment ago when you said a lot of people think they can just make a post on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, and that's it. Like, it's a little digital billboard. People are going to see it, and they're going to flock to your business. That's definitely not how it works now, especially with more and more people going digital. You got to stand out. I think it's really important to define your audience and then make enticing offers that would actually attract them rather than annoy them. I think you said you got annoyed with that restaurant. It felt like they were just trying to sell you or trying to get you to come in and try the food. So make yourself stand out, and I think
absolutely. And I think people can be hurt by their digital marketing. I know large law firms with hundreds of attorneys, and then I go to their Facebook page and they haven't posted in 3 years, and it says to the consumer, well, they're not that big, or at least they're not speaking to anybody under 30. Yeah.
Hey, well, absolutely. I think it says a couple things. One, like you said, you can get the feel that they're not as big as they are, or they're not doing anything, like they're not significant. Two, depending on the business type, it could also kind of convey the message that they don't care about their clientele. They just care about the money aspect. They're not actually putting content out there to actually connect with the consumer. The more you connect with the consumer, the better you're going to do. I mean, you can kind of see a direct correlation of like the more engagement and the more like your customers feel a part of your business, that your sales are just going to grow along with that.
Well, I know during the pandemic, a lot of businesses have had to pivot. They've had to go virtual, and they didn't know a lot about it. So to talk about why it's so important, especially during a pandemic when everybody's social distancing, to have a really robust social media presence.
Man, so a perfect example. So I work with a bunch of chiropractors all over the U.S., and I would say a lot of them are not the most tech-savvy people that you'd ever met. And come March, the pandemic started to kind of make its rounds around the U.S. A lot of them had to go digital, which was kind of a big task. We're using Zoom now. They don't even know how to open their Gmail a lot of times. But it's extremely important because the ones that adopted it pretty quickly, they were able to continue to service their clientele by way of virtual consults. We were doing what we call bounce back offers, where we were just making offers for people to take advantage of it right then and there, even collect prepayment. And then when they open back up, they would be the first one on the list to come in and receive those services. So we had a lady that in California, she went from having to close down. I think they were one of the first ones to go on lockdown. Closed down. We built up a huge list, made her $39,000 within 30 days of her coming back to business. And she said it saved her business. Like, we were the reason she did not go out of business.
Wow. And I love it that you eat your own cooking, because I checked out your social media platforms and you're very active. We're going to show some pictures off of Facebook, and I want you to kind of walk through these pictures and tell us what we're looking at.
So that one's Nashville, Tennessee. There's a big event called Funnel Hacking Live. It's probably the biggest event event for digital marketers in the U.S. So I took my team out there, and this was actually a networking event where I got to meet a lot of really cool people. That guy in the chinchilla fur coat there, he is a beast at YouTube. The gentleman on the blue, he actually created geo-targeting stuff for Snapchat. Like, he's another big guy. And then the lady, she's incredible with Dennis. So you go out there and meet people like that. It's, man, really
awesome.
broaden your perspective.
How about this one?
This one, we're out in Austin. Brought my team out there. That's where I'm from, but I brought my whole team out to Austin for the ManyChat conference. ManyChat's a chatbot service, which basically is automated messaging. It's really cool because you can set things up to where you can actually reply, like your front desk is replying to people 24/7 without you having to do it. So it really just kind of streamlines and makes your job as a business owner a little bit easier. This was actually a really cool event, my very first speaking event. I got paid to come out and teach all these amazing people how I went and started my business and grew it to 6 figures a month within 6 months. And like, I learned a lot from them, just like they learned a lot from me, but that was most fun I had in my life. This is a gentleman, doctor slash marketer. He's actually really, really big in the digital marketing community. It was really cool because he came up to me. He's like, "Hey, are you Jeff Lopez?" And I'm just like, "What? Like, you know who I am?" Like, so I had to snap a picture with that guy. This one, Grant Cardone. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He's a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
I took my whole team out to the 10X event in Vegas. Had a great time. Networked with a lot of people. Bought a lot of Grant Cardone merchandise. Got the jersey on there.
Awesome. That is very cool. What's it like to engage you? I mean, what's the process like when you sit down with your client for the first time, either face to face or via Zoom? What kind of questions are you asking?
Biggest thing is, one, we want to try to identify like who's their ideal client. We call them your perfect person, which is like the ideal person that's coming in buying your services. Is that like a housewife, a stay-at-home mom? Is that a ex-athlete? Whoever it is, we try to define that person as specifically as we can. Because we'll start to craft offers that we know are going to, bait them in. Because, you're going to advertise to somebody that's a stay-at-home mom a little different than you're going to advertise to, an NFL player. But if we can define that audience, then we can define an offer and really make something eye-catching or enticing for them.
Is the trend towards becoming more real and less polished, so that the customer knows who you are and not some plastic...
Yeah, that was a great question. Actually, just this last week, I had a long conversation with one of our doctors in Indiana. He was a little upset with some of the emails we were sending. He's like, "This isn't professional. Like, I don't like this. This is something I wouldn't say." It's like, well, the stuff you would say is boring. Like, we do this because, the more personality you add, the more you stand out. The more you stand out and you feel like a real person, the more people are going to flock to you. And it's like, we battled over it. And over the course of this last week, we ran with this new campaign, and we're up 32% on engagement just by being more personable and adding that personality in the campaign.
Well, we see the world the same way, because I had a anesthesiologist sitting right where you are on Monday, and she was talking about how she made these kind of silly little TikTok videos, and it's gone crazy. And I think it's something about her being this respected anesthesiologist, but then she's also a fun person, and people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And so showing your silly side can actually help.
Oh yeah, the KLT is what we call it, know, like, and trust. But absolutely, during the pandemic, another thing that we did with our doctors, and they'd never done it before, is we made some of those funny TikTok videos, but we coupled it with some funnels, so there was an actual offer. Like, people are seeing this thing. One of them went viral. Like, we had it was a popular song, but it had that little ear like squeaky noise in it, and every time that happened, like, they were like cleaning something off at the office, and it, like you said, it was just funny to see somebody so high up there in the I guess the social chain. And they're out there making funny videos on TikTok, and it ends up going viral and boosted their business that way as well. So.
Okay, let's talk beyond just the social media platforms. Do you help people with emails and that kind of outreach?
Yeah, so emails are big. We call it list building. So a lot of times, especially if you were in a situation where you did have to close your business, one thing you'd be doing is putting offers out there, whether it's redeem now, come in later, or reserve your spot now, come in later. But anytime you can get somebody on a list, and even if they walk through your door, it's always good to have what we set up for our chiropractors right now is a QR code. They scan, they get on a little reward system, little offer coupon, little mailing list. But the bigger you can build that list, we call it going back to the well. Anytime anything crazy happens, or let's just say it's a slow week, you can have a rainy day promotion or Easter promotion, but you got a list of active buyers, active people that are ready to see your message. And if you work that list correctly, I mean, you can make a lot of money with really spending none at all.
Outstanding. You mentioned one of the verticals that you worked in, chiropractors. What are some other industries that you're looking to get into?
We do a lot of different things. Right now we're going very broad. During the pandemic, I had a lot of people come to me. I have some business owners in my family. We've done everything from daycares to gyms to car dealerships to we've even helped some music artists. Pretty much anything. I think digital marketing, it's all the same principles. You find out who your audience is. You have an offer, something that's attractive to them. You put it in front of them. I mean, they're going to flock to it if everything's correct. So digital marketing works, and it's all relative.
Well, and I want to vouch for Jeff Lopez because I'm a boomer, and I think if you're a boomer and you're watching this right now, and you're some of this is making sense to you, I think you need to hire a millennial or a Gen Z to help you with this effort, because many of us my age are so old school that we would, if we tried to do it, we would do it wrong. So when do you know when it's time to hire a pro like yourself?
I always tell my clients, and then I also teach other digital marketers, like, you got to pay to play. I think it's always important as a business owner. You usually get stuck in that trap that, I can do everything myself, I'll save money. You're really like costing yourself money by trying to figure it out yourself, because there is such a learning curve with a lot of things. For instance, I mean, you're news anchor. It's best, like, again, I'm not trying to put you in a box. You do a lot of things.
Yeah, thank you.
But that's what you're good at, and it's good to find the people that are good at what they're good at. And if you pay somebody, you'll get that result faster. So you pay the right person. I mean, for instance, we have clients all the time. They're like, "Oh, you're expensive." It's like, we're not expensive because we're going to make you money. It's like, we're expensive because it works. And then we show them, and they're like, "Oh my God, I wish I'd found you sooner. Like, I tried to do this myself, wasted 6 months." It's like, we could have made you 180 grand in 6 months. Like, it cost you a lot more than it costs us.
Preach, brother, preach.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of time for this segment, so we're going to put your website up. officialjefflopez.com/go is the website. Get a hold of Jeff Lopez for all of your marketing needs. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Hey, I really appreciate you having me.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.